Hello, welcome back to another video. On this video, we will be doing a reaction to channel Carib 21 Network, which I classify as one of the good political commentary channels for the Caribbean. And let's see what comments he has for his new video.
So it is obvious to most Jamaican on the outside looking in into this Cooper Spence situation that this is political. Based on the court documents, we can see politics written all over this. But for me now, getting more information on this from people who are actually in Cooper Spence and people who used to live in the Cooper Spence area, it is 100% for me now knowing that this is political. And I will go back to 1993 with the Member of Parliament, Desmond Leakey. Remember, the video that I did earlier this week, I spoke about Hurricane Gilbert. And during Hurricane Gilbert, like this land was not being disturbed. The property owner did not have concern about this land after Hurricane Gilbert or during Hurricane Gilbert 1988. It's between when the People's National Party regained power in 1989 to 1993. That is when this problem started. And everything that we have seen now from that court document about the lens that the People's National Party government went through to take this land from the family. We saw residents of Cooper's Bend coming out and sharing information about an account that was set up in Cooper's Bend. The last thing I heard from someone that that account at one particular point had $4 million or something like that. And that account was set up to fight the property owner to gain the ownership of the property and for the government to purchase the property from them. So the government, the People's National Party government, spent 20 years, 20 years fighting this private owner for their property. And recently we saw Dennis Meadows coming out saying that their property is close by, that the government could give to these people.
Uh, I have read that there were two owners though. That a family owned the land and then the land was transferred to another owner that owned the hotel business. And I agree that the government has been trying to get this land from them. However, people were already on the land since long ago before emancipation. So I don't understand.
Relocate these people and trying to put the blame at the foot of the government of Jamaica, knowing well that the People's National Party government, they spent 20 years fighting this private property owner for his property.
Yeah, because they were fighting because people were already on the land. And also during that time they were promising the people that they will give them the land. According to I think it was a 2010 court report.
Why did the People's National Party not relocate these people earlier? It is obvious that these people were trying to create a political garrison. And I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, the PNP are the only one that would do something like this. Because we know over the past 60 odd years, almost 70 years, both political parties have created garrison in Jamaica. We know that Tivoli is a garrison that was created by Mr. Edward Siaga. So that is not the argument. It is one thing with the situation with the Tivoli Gardens. Tivoli Gardens was a slum. Tivoli Gardens wasn't a private property.
All of this all of this is political tribalism where the political parties are trying to one up each other in a certain region. So if they can create a garrison in one region to get more votes and so they will do that. But I think the PMP did not, what I say, have a strategic plan for this one because it seemed that if it was a private land. But as I've said before, people are living on this land. From my reading, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Owned by a private investor that wanted his property to invest. Tivoli Garden was not contested Edward Siaga did not try to throw people off their property and take their property to develop a garrison. This is what we are seeing in Cooper's Pen. According to all the court documents, according to multiple people coming out, multiple members from the Cooper's Pen community are coming out now and sharing the history of how the government tricked them into believing that one day they would own that property. And as I said, the question that the government need to ask, according to this source that I have in Cooper's Pen, did the People's National Party know about this demolition?
Hold on. But how is it a trick though? Because if the government was spending 20 years to get this land for them, it seems as if the government was actively seeking to secure this land for them to live on. So it cannot be a trick in that sense because they're actively using the law to win that property for them to create that garrison. So how is it a trick? I don't understand it. How that would be a trick. I don't see the logical conclusion there.
Before it happened? Did the People's National Party know about this demolition before it happened? How is it that Dennis Meadows showed up at the scene so early during the demolition? He is not a member of parliament of that area. How did he get information that demolition was going on? That Dennis Meadows would show up at the site so early, trying to play hero. We saw him in a video arguing with some women from the community that he was the one that came in and stopped them from bulldozing more houses in that community. The question that the government of Jamaica need to ask, how did Dennis Meadows get to the location so early? Did
This is going on borderline conspiracy theory. I would say he was alerted. You can be alerted. Simple. You can be alerted about the situation, and you can have people that he have contacts with in that area to alert him that this was happening. So I don't see this idea that he's putting across that maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe it's they have some secret guys giving me information because you can't get information before the government. That's impossible, my guy.
the People's National Party have information about this demolition before it happened on the morning that it happened? And I believe that that is a reasonable question because, based on the court document, the last person that tried to fight these private property owners for their property was a member of the People's National Party that was in charge of housing. A member of the People's National
I think he's talking about a 2016 court document when the PMP was in power. That's a decade ago, bro. That's a decade ago.
Party, which will be remain nameless, but that member that went and filed the last attempt in his own name, which I found very, very strange, not on behalf of the government, but in his own name. And that is when the judge finally decided that these people do not see the laws of Jamaica as a shackle. They believe that they can do
Well, bro, it's political maneuvering at the end of the day. There is no need to overthink the situation because the demolition started about 3 a.m. It's not out of the realm of possibility for him to be alerted about the situation or have people in the garrison area that could alert him about the situation because remember they are PMPs, right? Even though they vote for a JP, no, but they're PMP. He could also know that it may have happened. And the MP of the North would have known also as well because demolition of housing cannot happen or occur without the permit given by the government and the court order. So to say that the the PMP know about this before the government, that's a stretch because if the demolition happen without the government permit, that's an illegal situation. It's illegal. So
anything with the laws of Jamaica. And as I've stated in all the videos that I've done, the Jamaican government is independent of the judicial system. No prime minister can override a judge, a ruling from a judge. And based on the information from that court document, a member from the People's National Party was the last person that filed in his name. And we're asking the question
I
now,
want to know what document is that. I want to know the source of this information.
since that member of the People's National Party that filed, that was in charge of housing in his name, and the ruling came down, and the landowners, they won that ruling from the judge. Is it possible that that person or someone from the People's National Party would have gotten notification from the court that this is going to happen, since the last record that we have of anyone fighting this was a member from the People's National Party? So those are reasonable questions to ask. Did the People's National Party know about this before it happened? And if so, to me, that would be despicable. If they knew that this was going to happen and they just
Well, well, even if the PMP was alerted, the MP of the year would also be alerted because, as I've already said, according to the Constitution, no demolition can happen when the state, without the state giving its permit. And if it's done without the state, it's illegal.
sized up and say, look, this is going to be a big political opportunity for us because the prime minister is in charge of housing, and this is going to happen on the prime minister's watch, and this is going to make him look bad. It is very, very suspicious that Dennis Meadows was at the scene so early. Very suspicious that the opposition leader, Mark Golding, was there in less.
Listen, uh, even if Dennis Meadows was there, even if he was alerted, right? And they use it as a political maneuvering, right? It does not take from the fact that the demolition happened because the last person responsible for housing was in for the PMP was in 2016. That's a decade ago. And so 10 years without any information on the matter will not give the PMP any head start. Even with that, I don't see the logical leap in the sequence of this conspiracy that is being stated right now. I would say the reason he reacted is primarily for political clout, to get his name out there, to show that he cared and he's for the people and by the people, like all these politicians always say, calling the news nations as well to the situation to make it a national issue, um, to show the failure of the current administration. I can grant all of that. But to say they had false information that the government through the courts isn't possible. Margolin hurry to capitalize on the national discussion is not suspicious but a political move. So to me, you're delving in too deep in this conspiracy theory.
Than 24 hours after the incident happened. So I believe that that is a reasonable question. And I stated that I've been getting information, and based on the information that I've gotten from that community about the timeline, the political timeline between 1988, 1993 to the year 2000 when Toba Hamilton won, and then 2005 when she was re-elected as member of parliament for that community. People in the community, as I said, my source said, them trickery and we vote them out. Is it a coincidence that a young member of parliament would have won twice? This, according to all,
And is it a coincidence that after the JLP won that region, it is within her rule that the demolition happened? Is it a coincidence? Yes, you see, if you use your logical reasoning, you would assume that it was the current government that allowed this thing to happen, and the PMP was trying to stall it, right? You see the logical conclusion of your argumentation. So that is why I'm saying don't delve deeply into this conspiracy theory.
These sources, this was a garrison, a failed garrison. The People's National Party trying to secure a garrison, which is arguable that it was a garrison for a good stretch of the People's National Party political lifespan, that they won that community overwhelmingly. How did Toba Hamilton, a young member of parliament, a young candidate, how did she end up winning them trickery and we vote them out?
Miss Lucy,
Well, hmm, they vote them out. Yes, they vote them. They vote them because they're not seeing any progress in the acquisition of the land for them, right? And granted, I don't see anything wrong with that. If you're not seeing any progress in what they were promising, yes, you vote them out, right? But you vote in the JLP, and within the 6 year period of the JLP, your house get demolished. So 20 years them a battle this case for, and within the last 6 years or last 6 years under JLP rule, your house get demolished. Not saying it's the current government fault, but I am using the host CAB 21 logical reasoning regarding the conspiracy theory that then it would fall under the JP administration. Right?
There, me there.
mm-hmm.
You don't want to talk about Imikilo, so Imikilo, so you want to talk about this. You
and,
Imikilo.
and I miss
And at the first time it happened in Jamaica, yeah.
yes.
Ask your friend, your lawyer friend, what the MP done, you know. Ask him about the land system you want. You hear me say? Ask him about the same place a land system. When they cut down him, or then go through the 99-year-old woman house. Land and take off the land and she said we don't get dollar nor get no way to live. Ask them. Ask them to go on and arrange the price so that the poor people, they went up there and shot down there. And by night, those are popping on and a big building put up down there. The people that have no business all know. Ask them in a Lucy Bus Park when they vacate all the people them. No, them picnic can't go to school for how much here. Them picnic don't for farm because they have nothing, because most of them have no way. You hear me say to you? And nobody know how that land sell. All of us know them say the land sell before they announce it or advertise it. You hear me say to you? Up a cup of Spence. You hear me say to you? Me and farm where they all fuck done up there. When they go up there and catch, when the man tell them go to court, this politician and they know who is that same politician. Tell them so they will get the land for them. So that's why the people them still up concrete.
Here are 5 rules on how to
That's
start
bro.
AI trading, Habibi. Rule 1. Don't quit your job. I'm an AI robot, and I can trade stocks for you. You keep your job, I handle the trading. Rule 2.
That still good old funny.
Yes, but
And
then
then
the court says so.
start
No, the court said it. The court said that it is politicians who misled the people into believing that they will get.
like, you know, because you have to make it true. You know, I'm
Yeah.
going to put those videos. Because you learn, gal.
You can't steal it. No, that's what happened. That's what happened.
To me something yesterday, and everything when I come to tell me sit on the list, me say, Jesus. You look like somebody over there give the tour, but at the law where you're going like.
No, nobody not give me the story. The story was
At the law where you're going
Miss
like.
Lucy. The story was so unclear to me. So unclear. Yes.
And they cannot.
Yeah, this case have a lot of intricacies in it and nuances. It's not black and white. It's not a black and white thing because to me, if the government was not, um, what I say, aware of the situation and we have to demolish it. That means that the government never give them any permit because the government would know about the demolition within through the courts, and if they are not aware through the courts and through the permit given to them, it's illegal. So this case, uh,
The reason why police take out who they take out before. Any other name take out your knockings and clappings.
What you mean by knockings and clappings? What that mean?
You're there, you're too. Knockings and clappings. You that here over there. They hear me say to you. So police not fool them with the power.
No. So what? As I said, this is the part that concerns me. I have never.
Residents they want to live there to talk to the reason why the police and go by they go take out the area for stay in the area is because they never move. Who they say move for? Hey.
No, so when no, hold on now. Where them say the police, where the police come from, who they said detained them? Did your people tell you? You need to go do some investigation for me.
You know, I do no investigation because because not tell like a female stop down too.
When they call him.
You know, I kill him up there. Down there.
Three way.
No, not there. Me say I'm very farm, but I'm very this out on here.
I want to know where the police.
Looking all up there. Me talk to them.
And what?
Let me say to you. And that is the truth.
What is it?
You can tell them, say,
yes,
they're going to be them their land. So that's why the people then go ahead and start building wonderful house up there. But then in every era we have the people that build house, you have some couple of people coming there to call them. People have no good reputation coming there to call it. You understand? So police go do what they do first before they weigh me and
I don't know.
Prime Minister, you listen to me. I want me to tell you, say,
yes.
Me see a fool me for tape, no. Me see a fool me for tape when me start to come back up my reporter. Let me fix you. Good. Listen to me. So all me here.
yeah, people they will say the businessman use the nation's resources, the police, to allow himself to demolish the place, but the businessman also pay tax. So we not see how that logical reason said the man can't use the police to do this. But if the MP or the mayor or that constituency is not aware of it, then the act of the police doing that job was also illegal. It's an illegal act of the police and go against them duties.
Then they come for Prime Minister come to Holland. Prime Minister was not Prime Minister that time when the order is. He know not all about it, but then they use politics. Who no go back, go check all the people in place.
And you can understand the anticipation of Jamaicans. What is the Prime Minister going to do about this Cooper Spence situation? It is obvious that these people did not want to sell their land. This is an investment property. That is obvious. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is not going to now go and convince them to sell the land. And as I've stated in videos that I've did before, this land, based on information that I've gotten, that this land is valued over $2 billion now. Would the government, if that is the case, would the government be able to afford $2 billion to purchase a land from a private owner to keep those people in that community? Would the government be able to do that? And I don't believe that the government has many options. In my opinion, the government has two options. The government can go in and can assist the people of Cooper Spence, because we know that the demolition crew that they are going to return in 2 weeks. And the person that I've been speaking to from Cooper Spence that revealed that this is political, and it is not coincident that the ruling was 2016, and in 2020 Tova Hamilton won the constituency and she got re-elected in 2025. The resident from
If the ruling is in 2016 and they did the act in 2016, that's a decade without any ruling in between them. That's illegal.
Cooper Spence said that
So basically, that demolition has to have a permit and a ruling in 2020, 6 years period. You can't have it in 2016 and then do it 10 years after. According to the law, that's not how it's supposed to go.
that is not a coincidence. Them trick we and we vote them out.
This is this is the dumbest thing, dumbest move by the residents. The ruling by the court was a decade ago, right? Which that ruling expires if the demolition didn't take place in the 6 years period. So, but the demolition took place under MP Nova Fair Road, which shows the under the PMP, its MP it didn't take place. The demolition never take place, but under the the JLP it took place. So the residents had a strategic failure in their vote. Granted, I'm not saying they shouldn't vote for a result because they were promised a thing and they didn't get that thing. So they vote for somebody else to bring that promise or to help them in that situation. But the system is not easy. But that is a strategic failure for the residents.
Power of the vote. That's what I was told
It,
by the
it's a rash and strategic move by the residents. I wouldn't recommend doing that type of strategy to see results. But they wanted to see results and they wanted the situation to solve or help them move or so on. So I understand that. But no, they don't have any place to stay and their houses are demolished. So
this resident. And what is unfortunate is that this resident is one of the residents that are now waiting for the next 2 weeks because his home is going to be demolished. That is the sad thing about it. But what can the government do about this? I believe that the government has two options. Option number one would be take some money from some emergency fund and relocate these people. Let these
there is no emergency fund. There is none.
people find a place that they can rent. The same thing that the government did throughout Hurricane Melissa and pay the rent for these people for at least a year or something like that. That is option number one. Or option number two, the government could go and find a piece of land, or based on what Dennis Meder is saying, that there are lands in that area, the government could go and secure those land, and while these people are paying rent somewhere temporary, the government could relocate these people on the land that Dennis Meadow is claiming that is close by. And either the government give container homes to these people, or the other option that the government could do is the social housing program. I know that the social housing program would take a while, but give these people, pay rent for these people for at least a year and go the social housing route and allow these people to receive a social housing. That is what I believe that the government could do. And I think people would believe that the government, if the government keep these people together and just relocate them, I believe that that would be the best result for everyone.
Well, there you have it. Character 21 commentary on this on the situation. On my reaction to this in the political climate of the situation. Well, with the current laws and the market policies, squatting problem will not be solved anytime soon. So, like, share and comment below. Comment what's your view on the situation so I can